there's sort of a bit of a rule about being able to restart within the first 2 minutes if you don't manage to land a quick hunt, because at this level of play upwards, it ends up being basically the game decider. So both players have already found an early hunt. So we see a storehouse from Kire and a storehouse from GameVideo. So we'll reintroduce the players. Spawning on the top side of the map today as the blue trunks Persian, we have Kire. And spawning in the bottom corner of the map as the red trunks Persian, we have GameVideo113. So yeah guys, they're opening up pretty similar builds. Kire obviously getting that slightly quicker barracks out, and GameVideo looks to be doing the same. He's floating up to 190 wood rather than throwing down another storehouse, so we'd say he's going to do the same thing. He's just been gathering a little bit of extra food already. In fact, he seems to be a bit stuck, really. There we go, so there goes out the barracks. A little bit later than perhaps he would have liked. He'd already gathered up another 20 wood than he needed to actually throw it out there, so Kire actually already on another storehouse. So just having not gone for the berries and just gotten onto the storehouse a little bit quicker there. And then the barracks, I think, has really aided him. So he's actually not got any spar out. There we go. There's the first spar bar out. On the way. His opponent still training up his barracks. So little things like this can mean a lot, really, because early on, when you've got like 2 versus 3 or 4 versus 3 or something like that, you can really make it easy to push your opponent back. Send one to go and actually harass the villagers while you're taking the fight, that sort of thing. And really give yourself a little bit of an advantage. So right now, barracks finished up for GameVideo. Third spar bar on the way for Kire. GameVideo also going for one, so we see a house coming out now for Kire. GameVideo is going to want to chuck one out in the next couple of seconds himself, because he's already at 17 population and building out of 2 production facilities at once, basically, with the town centre and the barracks. So he's adding 2 population about every 10 seconds. There we go, we see another house on this side of the map this time, and sort of use the chance to check out what PvE gear they've got at the moment. So these storehouses are all a little bit weak there. Oh, Hammer of Caveat. Oh, that's alright. Alligator Hide. Oh, yep, they're alright. Yeah, alright. Fair enough, GameVideo. Oh, yep. Yeah, and Kire fully decked out. Yeah, rich bastard. Yeah, we know that. Alright, so back to the game. And we see 5 spar here for GameVideo. Kire stopping at 4, going for the earlier age up. And he's going to get the stone now, with 3 villagers already on there. But GameVideo has also already been gathering stone with 3 villagers, so interesting to see who actually comes out on top economically here. GameVideo 16 villagers, Kire's 14. There you go, the age up starting for GameVideo after a very brief delay there. It's probably just waiting for the food. And 5 spar bar, about too much across the field for GameVideo. Kire now up to 5 spar bar as well. So fairly even numbers, so defender's advantage would probably come into play here, I think. Kire can sneak in the A tent relatively quickly and make use of that. Otherwise, back off to the town centre. As long as he doesn't really get pushed off resources unnecessarily, he can come out ahead here. In the meantime, GameVideo has even brought a scout across to harass Kire's scout. So both players looking to make use of that scout to get a little bit of extra damage off in the meantime. Kire actually getting the aid tent. Neither player producing any more spar at the meantime. So they both want to just commit with just 5s, which is interesting. Both of them losing a spar bar in that exchange. Nothing major. Kire just pulling out a single villager. Going to attempt to gather with these 2, but I don't think he realises. I think he meant to pull back all 3 at once, so he's going to lose 2 villagers for free here. Unfortunately for him. Oh, she might make it out yet. She will actually make it out there. So GameVideo doesn't actually get that second villager. Only gets 1. And Kire's already expanded on to another hunt. So GameVideo just on 1 hunt himself, taking the range, taking the town centre. Kire taking a slightly quicker town centre because he's got a lot of villagers on it. 11 villagers versus 4. So 8 shoot down center for Kire, kicking in just that little bit quicker here. Hasn't gone for the range just yet because he hasn't actually got the resources to do so at the moment. Eco-tex wise, it's nothing to nothing, and that 8 tent now being taken actually is a 100 resource commitment, so Kire has basically just going to put himself half a archery range behind to have got a little bit of healing out there, potentially have saved that villager more or less because she was a little bit higher health when his opponent was attempting to chase and opted to back off. So, you know, it's sort of which is worth more, and we're going to see which is going to be worth more. So 23 to 21 villagers at the moment. Kire slightly in the lead there. GameVideo's just finishing up now, and he hasn't actually queued up a villager out of it just yet. So he's going to want to try and fix that. Kire taking some eco-tex, but doesn't actually have any villagers out now. Hasn't been gathering the food he's needed to. Getting both the handsaw and the hunting dogs, but the handsaw is 100 food. So that basically cost him a rotation of villagers there. So 26 to 22 is now the villager count, still in favor of Kire. GameVideo investing in the walls, so that means no easy run bys from Kire, but it also means a fair bit of stone being spent on all that, so something to keep in mind as well. So GameVideo actually gathering quite a fair bit of stone at the moment, still gathering with 4 villagers now. Kire not gathering any stone at this point in time, hasn't opted to take an armory yet, neither is GameVideo, but he's just gathering up all that stone for some reason. Throwing up another little segment of wall, so he wants to take this into a very long game, a very big macro game I'd say. Kire opting for a fairly defensive watch post there, but I think he knows his opponent's already locked down the mid-map, has the advantage on the bow count for now, but in saying that, Kire's population is a little bit higher at the moment. He's managing his eco a little bit better, I think, so 34 to 32 is the villager count lead. He was 4 ahead though, so he missed a little rotation there. So if he stops dropping that, I think he can maintain this eco lead, go into the mid game with a bit of an advantage here. The GameVideo definitely not to be defeated. He's got up to the 2 rangers, gonna get the stables now as well. Kire also, Kire actually still a range behind, hasn't got the stables out yet either, so he'll be behind on production facilities, so you'll need to be careful here, but he's got a lot more population, so he's not missing opportunity to build more of these bowmen. So I think he's actually caught up and then some in terms of the army count at the moment, and he didn't actually have to gather so much stone, and GameVideo overgathered quite a bit of stone here too. So GameVideo scout falling to Kire's little force there, but it's gonna give him the intel he needs on the army size. Now the stable just about finished up for GameVideo, and the stable for Kire only just starting now. Neither player starting an armory just yet. Kire is floating a little bit of wood there, so wonder if that's going to come up next. So right now, population's about 20 in favour of Kire actually, so he's been producing a bit more in terms of units. GameVideo now just taking A10 and also taking the town watch upgrade, give himself as much line of sight as possible. So you can see units coming in, see units once they've broken through the walls, just that little bit faster. Kire unable to actually build the watchtower, so he's going to know that it's all walled up on both sides. In fact, on all sides, because otherwise the scout would just rally somewhere. So Kire opting to march up to the wall, but I don't think he realizes he needs to actually attack the wall, and the upgrade kicks in. So that's going to mean a fair bit more health to these segments of wall, and this gives GameVideo the opportunity to come in now and start harassing the infantry of Kire, and Kire's going to need to pull his bowman forward to be able to get the wall, and he doesn't opt to actually try and finish it off. So I'm a little bit surprised about it. He's got the bigger army, Even though he's got slightly less bowmen, 16 to 13, I think he's got a much bigger infantry force out of the pair of them. And Kire just now adding the Asabara. That wall is damaged, so GameVideo either has to repair it, or it's going to be quite easy for Kire to have another attempt at this. So GameVideo backing his army away, probably at a bad time because Kire is now knocking on death's door here. So a couple of volleys onto the infantry. He's going to get a couple of kills out of this GameVideo, but Kire already has a bit of a population lead to back this up with. So he's taking down that wall segment, taking some walls himself across the map. Just making sure he's not going to put himself behind by any means. And right now, he's sitting pretty, I think. He's getting another 2 stables, actually. Hasn't got the armory just yet. GameVideo has not yet opted for an armory either. He's opted for 3 stables and 3 ranges, so he wants to try and catch back up on production. Kire's age 3 a little bit faster, not a great deal, than his opponents. But he needs to be very careful. These Asabara are really going to hurt his bowman right now. So Kire actually seem to have any bowmen in there at the moment. I mean, any Asabara in there. I think he must have left them at home. I hadn't rallied out of his stables somewhere on the map, so he's going to lose a bunch of bowmen for free here. GameVideo actually getting Asabara champion, so nice all-round upgrade. 10% health, damage, and movement speed. But all the Asabara do actually get caught out here. So this is a good trade for Kire. GameVideo on 53 workers to Kire's 61 at this point. Kire taking the H3 town center now. GameVideo a little bit slow on his. Oh, and that's a fair bit of idlers there. He's taking a defensive town center. Oh. No, I mean, taking defensive tower, but no, not to be. Misclick. Oops, sorry. Full of gas. Full of hot air. Okay, so GameVideo, 95 population now to Kire's 130. Kire adding in some immortal camps now and an armory. Third town center going down now for GameVideo, but he's quite a fair bit behind in terms of the score now. Population down by about 25. Kire going onto the farms. GameVideo not on farms yet and still has this big clump of idle workers. 7 idle workers not doing anything. They're as good as not produced, and now Kire 12 workers ahead while there's 7 idlers. So Kire in a much better economic position right now. He can actually send such a big clump of Asabara to maybe try and harass these walls. So we go to Kire's vision. Kire doesn't know about the side being walled up yet, but he knows that he obviously can't get through, so he probably knows that it's there. Or that something's blocking the way anyway. He's got his wall upgrade himself. GameVideo still trying to keep up in terms of the units at this point. Kire just parking his cavalry there. He wants to go in. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes, he's going for it. So Kire is looking to make the first move down on these little low ground passages. But GameVideo is going to sacrifice a little bit of stone to repair this wall, but I think he might not have enough. He needs to get stone gatherers. He's going to look at sending some mounted archers across to deal with this, but Kire just needs to pull back his units, and I think he might be alright in forcing GameVideo's hand, because GameVideo is going to need to get more stone in order to keep repairing these walls. Actually have to pull them off one of these other resources. He's got 20 wood and 20 gold gatherers to keep up the mounted archer production, but he might have to make a bit of a dent in that to accommodate for Kire harassing. And Kire, oh, bit of a nice mixed composition here, as long as he doesn't get surrounded. Kire backing off out of this. Going to actually trade pretty well into these Asabara. Meanwhile, there's a fight over here with Kire's Asabara and GameVideo's infantry and some mounted archers supporting them, so that's not good for the Asabara. The mounted archers getting off tons of free damage. onto them, and there is Spyros there just soaking up the damage. Kire actually has worked in some Takabara now. Big clump of bowmen actually just running past, so he's a bit unlucky to see that. I mean, a bit unlucky to not see that, upgrades wise. Where's Kire's armory on? Oh, here. So Kire only has got the barbed arrows upgrade going, as well as he's getting his age 2 armor upgrade against the range. Well, GameVideo hasn't yet. Oh no, here we go. GameVideo has an armory, has only got his age 2 damage upgrade. So the age 3 damage armor upgrade is going to be quite good against that from Kire. Big bunch of mount Asabara now. Kire not building any mounted archers yet, so 79 to 69 is the worker count right now. It's a nice segment of wall going up here from Kire. He's going to make sure he's not going to be easy to raid at all. And now he's going to try and hit this other side on GameVideo's base, while the army's parked over on this side of the map. So can GameVideo actually see this? Oh yeah, now he sees it. Kire is going to do what he can to try and get this wall down. GameVideo this time actually has a whole bunch of stone in reserve, has even taken chisel. So, but there is just that many Asabara. He hasn't pulled enough villagers to repair that, but Kire actually backing out at this point. He wants to make sure his army is as bunched as possible before he takes this fight. GameVideo doesn't know about the rest of this army heading in here, and oh, it might be too little too late. The Takabara are going to get really good damage off on the mounted archers, and the Asabara don't have any travel distance here, so they're actually getting good hits off on the mounted archers. So GameVideo with a bit of a late kite there, but GameVideo pushing a huge force of bowmen across the map, 50 bowmen. Kire's going to have to respond to this, and he doesn't have a lot of population to actually get the units out, so he's deleting a bunch of villages now to force out the units. Very quick response there from Kire, deleting a whole bunch of villages, putting himself down to 67 to his opponent's 75 in order to get out of a bunch of Asabara. So that's a bit of a big cost to him, but he's got the resources in the bank to be able to do this, so I think this is going to pay off for him. He's going to be able to get one more bunch of Asabara behind that, and he's going to be able to kill all these bowmen. He knows where they are. He's doing a good job at looking at maintaining vision on the map there. GameVideo on the likewise is doing well to not throw away these mounted archers, getting some good shots off. Another couple of cavalry falling, but GameVideo making sure he's just staying out of Takabara range. Oh, but he cops a big volley there. And the bowmen now are back safely, so if these can sort of stack up together, they might be able to trade a fair bit better. And here we go, GameVideo running his opponent's army through his base. He's going to give himself the distance he needs, and he can't really get surrounded by these Asabara and just get everything one shot, so he's coming down to try and take a better fight with the mixed range composition of Kire, which I do think is a better composition at this point. GameVideo has some upgrades queued up, and so does Kire. Kire only making use of one of his armories at the moment. Kire's force getting quite thin right now. GameVideo has pulled him down to 150 population. GameVideo at 127 at the moment. So 67 to 72 the worker counts. Kire just behind on workers. But if he can snipe a couple here on the way out, he can probably equalize this. I think that's what he's going to try and do here, because he knows he's deleted villages and he's getting caravans now. So Kire gonna look at really ramping up in terms of his villager count again. GameVideo still getting some more villages to replace the ones that just fell. Kire has these cavalry here, so he could attack this wall perhaps. I think GameVideo is going to look at maybe trying to get back on that gold mine, trying to re-wall, because he does need the resources. He's still gathering from this gold mine over here, but not a lot at all. So thank you for the follow. And it's 145 population apiece at the moment. Kire does definitely have a little bit more in the bank, and I think a couple more upgrades going for him, because GameVideo still has 3 Age 2 upgrades queued up, while Kire, yeah, has taken all of his Age 2 ones, taken an Age 3 armor upgrade, getting his Age 3 melee damage upgrade. Just needs to get his Age 3 melee armor and range damage upgrades, so Kire doing a little bit better job at taking upgrades at this point, and does have, I think, a nicer comp overall. Here we go. So Kire actually managed to max out quite a bit faster there. GameVideo at about 160 population to Kire's 180 now, so Kire just has that little bit more production, a little bit more of an edge. I think he's been a bit more proactive around the map so far. GameVideo taking shelter in his base, taking a fortress back at home. He wants to try and drag this one out. Wait till he can buy himself some time, get himself an advantage here, because he's now starting to get double armory upgrades. Finally! And there are immortal camps now pumping for Kire. There are still these damage segments in the walls of GameVideo, so he's going to have to be careful of that. His opponent does know that they're still open. I'm surprised Kire didn't actually take the opportunity to damage that segment of wall. But he's actually going to try and take a full assault here. He's just going to try and damage down this wall as quick as he can with his whole army. So, actually, a bit of indecision there, but he's going to go for it. Gate being focused down because it's the largest segment of the wall and it does go down quite quickly. GameVideo not really able to mount a response in time to that, but he is now maxed out as well. Does have a little bit in the bank, not as much as Kire though. GameVideo rallying all his archers down here behind the buildings. And Kire chasing, sending all of his Asabara now to actually try and harass all the villagers on the farm. So this is going to force a huge pullback. 20, 25 villagers, 30 villagers in that, over 30. So even though the mounted archers are here to mop this up, that's a big economic slowdown for GameVideo. So if he loses any food-based units from here on, it can be very hard for him to recover. He's going to have to replace villagers on those farms because he did lose a couple. Asabara falling for Kire, so he's back down to 160 population. To GameVideo's 170. But that was a real interesting exchange there. He still has all these villagers. He has 50 villagers garrisoned there. So 50 villagers not gathering. Basically making up for Kire trading. Not evenly in terms of the unit value, so to speak. But Kire throwing up a bunch of production facilities behind this. Now he's opened up 3 gateways for himself into his opponent's base. GameVideo hasn't been successful in trying to mount any sort of pressure around Kire's base. So there is this wall still here, but otherwise now GameVideo having to try and take a fight into Kire, who's pretty well set up. He's got the army parked in the only passage that's not actually walled up, which leaves him pretty safe. He's getting some more mounted archers himself and a whole bunch of immortals and Takabara now, so it's a bit of an interesting composition, but I think he's going to be mostly right here. So the Takabara don't deal a huge amount of damage to the Asabara, but they will do an awful lot of damage to the mounted archers. And now GameVideo is preparing to take a big fight with Kire. And now re-walling up his side of the map as well, doing what he can to protect himself. Should his opponent break through or attempt to try and break through the sides. So now there's a big fight going on, but the Asabara not getting off a lot of damage so far. And this has been a pretty good fight for Kire, really. He's still up by 10 population now. GameVideo now training out some more units. Kire hasn't actually got anything in production, but he's taking age 4 behind this. He's now still about 10 population ahead of his opponent. He's clearly got more units here. So Kire managing to fell all of GameVideo's army there. He's down by about 12 villager population, but man, he really mopped up his opponent there, but he might lose a mounted archer if he's not careful. Oh, there we go. No, he doesn't lose any mounted archers. He's a little bit lucky there because they are certainly worth a little bit more than the Takabara. It's 130 resources compared to 60 resources, so you don't want to throw away your mounted archers into Takabara ever. unless you've got a big unit and health advantage. So there's a fortress going up now, another one for GameVideo. He's really making it hard for Kire to try and break through this side of the map. I wonder if this is going to go into being a wonder game. It's a good map for a wonder. I wonder. But this is interesting. He's walled himself off from this. He needs to actually get a couple of gateways here. And Kire just taking all of his age 4 upgrades, throwing down his 4th town center. He's up to 200 population as a maximum now, getting some siege workshops, getting a couple of war wagons, and more immortals. A couple more caravans as well, so he's going to shoot back up to 80 something workers. GameVideo all the way up at 106 workers now. So he wants to try and win this war of attrition by just stripping the land bare of all the resources. He's got that big eco advantage in 27 villages. So the more Kire waits, the less of an advantage he's actually got here, and the more GameVideo can really catch up in terms of gathering. Because Kire had been leading earlier in terms of his eco, but now I think things might swing the other way if he delays too long here. But here we go, he's just about to max out. He's just waiting for the last war wagon to pop. He's taking shield boss to the age 4 armory upgrade for his ranged armor. He's taken all of his age 3 upgrades, which is a really good sign for him. GameVideo just now taking his age 4 in terms of upgrades. He's taken all of his age 3 upgrades as well, so Kire really only going to have a small advantage with that. And both players pretty secure at the moment. But there is this little gap here. Well, there's 3 fortresses over this side. And I don't think Kire actually knows about any of them. So there we go, he's going to be convinced to back off. GameVideo just now seeing it as well. So Kire should try and hit this side. But he's actually just busy in his base. He's going to now attempt to break through the gap. GameVideo actually deleting a market so he can throw up one elsewhere and rely on that. He doesn't want to have any caravans over here while the Asabara are on the way in, and they are going to run into another big force of Asabara. But there are war wagons in this mix, so that's going to be a nice amount of splash damage onto any units here. While there's mostly ranged composition, even though on paper it shouldn't do so well against the Asabara, it might be able to get off that much damage, and the Asabara is sort of running straight into the Immortals. That, yeah, Kire really able to mop up all those Asabara. 157 to 196 population, so Kire in a pretty dominant position. As long as he doesn't tank too much fortress fire and gets a ram or something in here, or a Palantonon, to be able to blow up these fortresses, then he can really deal some damage to GameVideo right now, who's producing out of so many stables, about 10 stables. GG, so that's game number 1. Holy, if that's what we're in for 5 games, man, that was a good game. So 186 to 110 villages. I mean, sorry, 86 to 110 villages in the end. Pretty good games, guys.